Keith said at halftime that you told the team they were playing like Cool Hand Luke. First, do you think they understood the Cool Hand Luke reference? And second, how do you think there's a personality issue with this team in terms of not having a guy like Keith Hornsby or Craig Victor to give you that edge right now?
Yeah, I think it certainly have a missing those type guys who play with that type of edge night in and night out. It's certainly needed for this team. I thought Keith provided that a lot for us last year, even with the guys that we had. I thought our guys came out last night, and when we got punched, the way that we respond, that I didn't think was in the manner that we needed to. I thought we did a better job after halftime, the way that we played. But being a young team like that, unfortunately, we've got to grow up and be able to respond. And sometimes you've got to go through things like that to get to where you're trying to get to. And unfortunately, the way that it played out last night for us, we definitely was not happy about the way that it played out.
Coach Jackson, the 2 losses in New York, you felt like the coaching staff did a good job preparing the team for the game, or were you maybe a little surprised and shocked by the lack of energy at the start of the game?
No, the games in New York had its own identity. I guess the teams that we were playing, and Marquette and NC State, both of those games I thought they played out the way that they did. I thought we were close. But again, there were some things missing in those games because there was only a basket or 2 away from it being different in us being winners in those games. Last night, going into that environment, sometimes it's hard for guys to understand if they hadn't been through it before. It's crazy, but it's really been Simmons' first true road game in his life. You know, he's played on neutral courts the whole time, but last night was his first time having an opportunity to really play on someone else's home court, and that was different for him, and obviously for our other 2 freshmen in Division I basketball game. It was their first time as well, and you'd like to think that the way that they've shot the ball all year, what we've relied on, has been a positive, and unfortunately we just couldn't get them going last night.
Do you think that was part of the problem with his turnovers, with being on their home court?
I'd have to think that they may have added to it in the pace of play. And then you're playing against some other guys out there with the quickness and the way that they run and move. And he played a lot of minutes last night as well. And sometime in games you try to take over and you try to force the action a little bit, and that those things will happen. And I think that would have contributed to some of the turnovers that he had, because he's gone a few games without any turnovers and playing a whole lot of minutes. But I think when we got behind, we tried to force some things, and it didn't work out in our favor.